I like making some unconventional designs. And I shared 3 videos about different gearbox designs recently. 3-ring drive, angular gearbox, and the wave drive with rolling elements. In this video, I decided to practice my CAD skills and build something complex, including all these 3 gearboxes. And of course, it's a robotic arm, the forearm to be particular. It all starts with the rough layout with some scrap components. For the roll axis I want to use the 3-ring drive in the elbow. On its output shaft we have a pitch axis motor mounted, so it's not kinematically coupled with the roll axis. Each shaft goes through the forearm and drives an angular gearbox that is connected to the input of another, smaller 3-ring drive which is responsible for the wrist pitch axis. For the yaw axis I decided to use one more angular gearbox inside the wrist. It is driven by a belt and then it connects to the wave drive with rolling elements. But why not just use direct drives? Because it's boring and we are dead serious cosplaying industrial robotics here. First, I want to improve the wave drive gearbox. My first wave drive design worked badly with ball bearings, because they have a very small contact area. They left a groove inside the flat plastic gear profile under load pretty fast. But I still want to use ball bearings because they are easier to source and much easier to fit precisely into the cage using just a drill bit. And since we are using 3D printing here, we can create a 3D profile, giving the ball a much larger contact area. So I designed a second version of my wave drive generator. Now it has an option to use the 3D profile. And it is open source, so you can find the link in the description. I also made a cage output coupling, so it can self-align vertically inside this 3D profile, since the cage already relies a lot on layer adhesion. And this is the downside of this gearbox. The cage is not very FDM friendly. The force goes across the layer line, so it can split right there, basically the weakest spot in the FDM printed part. So it's better to use engineering filaments. I tried glass fill nylon and it works much better, but it's even harder to print precisely, so you definitely need a drill bit here. I got something really cool. Formlabs was very kind to send me their Form 4 printer, and a lot more. And to be honest, I was a bit biased about SLA printing. But it turned out that the Formlabs workflow is very simple. You print the parts, wash them, give them a bit of a sun bath, and that's basically it. Even the resin storage is pretty handy. But the most important part for me is their engineering grade resins like Tough 2000 or Rigid 10K, with very good mechanical properties. There are no typical FDM problems like weak layer adhesion or seam lines, and the prints come out very precise. And what's cool is that I can print a whole batch of small components pretty fast. So it works really well for a lot of my parts, like cages, pulleys, shafts and eccentric cams with the perfect fit. I can make very small eccentricities for smaller gearboxes. And look at this crown gear. Again, there is no force going across the layer lines like on an FDM part. By the way, I have some updates about this angle drive, so stay tuned. It would be useful to have an encoder on the end effector, and I found this interesting off-axis encoder with a ring magnet that I wanted to try. That is how this part was born. It holds the input shaft bearing on one side, which is connected to the roller pinion. And on the other side, it holds the larger bearing for the output cage coupling, with the encoder magnet attached to it. Then, this whole insert slides into the wrist body and screws in place. The wrist is driven by a 3-ring cycloidal gearbox, and to keep the forearm as slim as possible, I need to move it closer to the center line. That means the crown gear has to sit on the opposite side. In my previous design, I made the crown gear adjustable with a single preload screw. This time I wanted to keep it but also lock it in place. So I designed this threaded preload ring with grip notches and finger cutouts in the wrist body, so you can reach it and turn it by hand from the outside. Then I added this small locking mechanism to hold the ring in place. And I made this little clicker to get that satisfying sound and feedback. But then I realized this whole design takes up too much space and affects the overall look. So I simplified it. I made it much smaller and switched to a normal set screw. Once all the parts finally fit together, I can print the actual wrist body in clear resin. I forgot to install the threaded inserts before curing, so I just hammered them in. And somehow it didn't crack. I printed this wave drive outer ring from rigid 10K resin. It's really cool to see what's happening inside. The forearm design was challenging. I had never designed something this complicated before, where everything depends on everything. I started the assembly with the wrist, 3-ring drive and the motors. Then I created in Context Part Studio around them. At first I wanted to make the forearm a smooth organic shape built from curves. But I quickly realized that this was a bit too much for me at this stage, especially with all the parts sticking out, like the 3-ring drive. I needed some inspiration. And I got a few useful ideas. Eventually I landed at splitting the forearm into 2 main parts. The right side would be the main structural part, almost like unibody. It holds the wrist body with the gearboxes, the motor and controller. And the left side would be for the belt drive, more like support and cover. Once I found that split visually, the design started to make sense. And when I added this grille decoration behind the wrist, the whole picture finally came together. But then came the long, painful part, fitting everything inside and figuring out how to split the body properly. After a few failures and iterations, I finally got a result I was happy with. I immediately started printing and assembling it. For reinforcement, I'm using carbon fiber tubes running through the whole forearm. They also help to connect it to the elbow. This design got pretty messy, with a lot of parts and sketches depending on each other. I tried to keep everything organized in folders, but next time I'll definitely split into more part studios and keep the structure cleaner from the beginning. Still, I learned a lot from this build and I'm really happy with the result. Now I know how to do it better next time. I'm still not sure if I'll continue to build the rest of the arm. I do have a pretty clear vision of how it could look. I also have a lot of other ideas I want to try. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.